Hello, this is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back on my series on stories from the Puranas. And today we'll be talking about a very interesting story, and not that the other stories were not interesting. And this story is about the quarrel between Ganesha and Kartikeya, who are both sons of Lord Shiva and Devi Parvati. So as we know that Shiva and Parvati have two sons, and there are different opinions about who is the eldest son, but generally there is a consensus about Kartikeya being the eldest son, who was born, and one of the divine purpose of Kartikeya was to kill the great or the powerful demon Tarkasur. So anyways, Shiva and Parvati, as we know, have two sons, Ganesha and Kartikeya, and both the sons wanted to get married, and it was very difficult for Shiva and Parvati to decide who should be married first. If they would ask one son to get married first, the other person could get hurt. So they decided to call them. They called both of them and said, look, you both are very dear to me, or to us rather, both Shiva and Parvati. And they said, we have thought about a competition between the two of you. Why don't you both, Ganesha and Kartikeya, travel around the world and then come and return back to us, and whoever returns first will be married first, and that should be a fair competition, and this way, we don't have to decide which son of ours would be married first. So Kartikeya knew that his vehicle, Kartikeya's vehicle, as we know, is a peacock, and Ganesha's vehicle is a mouse. So Kartikeya was, he was okay with the competition. He thought it was fair, and he immediately went out on his journey, where he would be traveling around the world and come back to his parents as soon as possible. But Ganesha, as we know, is extremely intelligent, and he thought, well, my vehicle is a mouse, and of course the mouse cannot compete with the peacock. And as is, he was pretty heavy in his constitution as well. So he says, if I travel, I may get tired. So he thought of a solution. So Ganesha first took a bath, and then he made his parents, Shiva and Parvati, sit on two seats, and then he worshipped them, and he circled around them for 7 times. And after he finished circling around his parents, Shiva and Parvati, for 7 times, he asked them, now please make arrangements for my wedding. So Shiva and Parvati were confused. They said, what do you mean? Didn't you hear what we said? We said that please, both of our sons, Kartikeya and Shiva, please travel around the world, and whoever comes back first would get married first. And Kartikeya, your brother, has already left, so if you don't move fast enough, he's going to beat you in the competition, and then he will get married first, so don't blame us then. So to which Lord Ganesha, he replied, haven't I circled around you 7 times? And he referred to the Vedas, where the Vedas say that circling around one's parents is the same thing as circling around the world. Now he argued with them that if you do not want to believe what the Vedas have mentioned, and if you want to say the Vedas are wrong, then that's another thing. But technically speaking, when the Vedas are saying that circling around the parents is the same as circling around the world, so you have to agree that I have circled around the world 7 times. Instead of the 1 time you've asked me, I've already done it 7 times. And Shiva and Parvati, they didn't have an answer. They couldn't say that the Vedas were wrong, and they had to. They were compelled to accept Lord Ganesha's logic and reasoning. So they made arrangements for his wedding, and sage Kashyapa had 2 daughters who got married to Lord Ganesha. And while Kartikeya was busy circling around the world, here Ganesha was already married with a lot of fanfare. And also that Ganesha got 2 sons. So he had 2 sons, one son from one wife and the other son from the other wife. Both, of course, were daughters of sage Kashyapa. And when Kartikeya returned back to Mount Kailasha after traveling around the world, and he found out that Ganesha was already married and he was already the proud father of 2 children, and he was shocked. So sage Narada, who is the Devarishi, or the sage of the gods, he narrated the entire story to Lord Kartikeya and said how Ganesha compelled or reasoned with his parents and kind of compelled them to agree to the logic that he already circled around the world for 7 times, so he should be getting married first. And Kartikeya didn't feel that was fair enough for him. He thought he was cheated, and he was very angry, very upset with his parents. So he decided that he would no longer live with his parents in Mount Kailasha, Lord Shiva and Parvati. He would never ever live with them. And he also decided that he would never marry. He was so upset. And that is the reason why Lord Kartikeya's another name is Kumara, because Kumara means a bachelor. That's the Sanskrit word for a bachelor is Kumara. And he moved away, he went away from Mount Kailasha, his parents' abode, and he started to live on another mountain called Mount Karancha. And the Puranas say, and of course, since this is coming directly from the Puranas, this is not fiction, I would request you to have firm faith and belief in it. So the Puranas say that Lord Shiva goes to visit Lord Kartikeya on the day of the new moon. Not the new moon. Well, you could call it technically new moon because that's Amavas. So on Amavas, when it's the dark moon and when the new moon is just about to begin, that's the day, Amavas day, that Shiva goes to visit him every month. And Devi Parvati, his mother, also goes to visit Lord Kartikeya at his abode, but she goes to visit him on a full moon, which is called Purnima in Sanskrit. So this was a little story directly coming from the Puranas. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and in the meanwhile I will recommend subscribe to my channel and check out my website. There is a link below, and I'll see you with the continuation of stories from the Puranas very soon. Goodbye.